Here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Monday, September 15th, 3:32 on this fine afternoon. Talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. Another somewhat choppy session here. S&P up about 0.4%, hitting highs at about 11, and then just kind of slowly, I wouldn't even say melting, but just chopping around. So still in the green. The I wouldn't even say the worrisome thing. Just interesting enough, the VIX has been just slowly melting higher as despite the market being solidly green. So I think some of that's just anticipation of Fed people positioning, what have you. Uh, but yeah, nothing to sit here and write home about, I guess you would say. Tomorrow we have the retail sales numbers from August. I mean, just another one of those data pieces that if it has some kind of weak or substantially lower than expectations, I think it's 0.3% expectation. If it's negative or what have you, cue up all the fear mongering, the bears, all those folks. Uh, the Henry Blodgett's, right? His little headline yesterday, this morning in Market Watch. But well, all eyes are on the Fed on Wednesday, and to me, it's not even like the announcement, Fed Chair Powell speaking. To me, it's like how is the market going to react? It's almost like we already know it's going to be some kind of cut, and probably I would say 90, huge. The probability is going to be 0.25%, right? If there's a jumbo cut, I think that opens the door for some kind of wild swings both ways. I mean, you can make the case that people would sell the news, right? But my concern is the reaction, right? And we had the reaction in yields last year at this time, but the market did okay. But I think some of that was because election year, right? Now you take that out, and it's like, okay, is our yields going to reverse and start heading higher again? And then we get to the point where it's like, okay, the Fed's cutting rates, yields keep going higher, and then it becomes like this snowball, and then the U.S. debt situation, which, gosh, it seems like eons ago that everybody was talking about the U.S. debt and the budget deficit and the tax bill and all that fun stuff. It's funny how all these things, I wouldn't say get swept under the carpet, but they just move on to the next potential catalyst for downside. But I think that's what's going to be important on Wednesday. So we'll see how the Fed spins it. Fed Chair Powell, I'm sure he's going to walk that tightrope again. He'll cite the jobs report again, which I think, it kind of appeases those who think he shouldn't cut because you could say, well, there's definitely a weakening economic condition. And then on the flip side, the inflation data is coming in line and even cooler than expect on the PPI. So we'll see how Wednesday goes out. I just some chop here. Today will be how many? One, two, three, the sixth straight session to the upside on the SPY, albeit some of these are small sessions. Tomorrow, probably some more chop, and then Wednesday will probably get a little more volatile. So that's that. And again, I posted just the VIX here, just like a sneaky green session here on the VIX. And I don't think it matters too much, but definitely some always watching some of these things that go on. All right, so that's in individual names. Just quick on some overall names now. Quick on individual names. GameStop's going to make 7 days in a row to the upside. That 200-day moving average is right there at 26. Gosh, I mean, there's 25 minutes into the close. Would love to see a close above that. I was looking earlier. I'm like, do I want to add some more strikes here? My 30s are solidly green, but it's like tough to find decent strikes. I mean, unless you're playing, you want to do the weeklies, do you go to get 27s because you think there might be some overshoot tomorrow and Wednesday? Uh, my 30, I mean, they're up 20%, my 30s, but it's I just don't want to go in and add anything just yet till there's like confirmation on the breakthrough. Because if it does start to go like it has in the past, back in May, those premiums just went bonkers. So if it goes bonkers, I'll be good anyway, right? Because I'll be in the $30 strike. So continue like this one. Again, the closer it gets to that October warrant expiry, a warrant dividend situation, I think it kind of puts shorts in a precarious position. Do they cover? Do they pay up for that warrant dividend, exercising coach? I don't know what that looks like, right? All right, so that's GME. Reddit finally got some speculatos, right? Been waiting to pull the trigger. Was waiting last week, watching those 300s. They were like $1.40. Then Friday, watch them. They were like 90, then all the way in half. And then finally today, pulled the trigger on the 40s, 300s, because they were a heck of a lot less expensive. The thing is, I was actually looking at 295s. And, I always kind of use this, especially when it comes to Reddit. If it rallies and gets that overshoot, it's not going to matter if I get the 295s or 300. So I might as well get the less premium option so that when it does move, there'll be less risk, more reward, right? So when you got those 300s, chopping around 263, back down to 260, 263, back down to 260. And then finally, this last little launch all the way up to 265. We know how Reddit works. I mean, I think it's going to gap tomorrow into the 270s. Call me crazy. but you don't know without with 100% certainty. Lock some in to cover some of the costs just before. I was hoping to close some out for 100%, but if it slides down into the end of the day, goes back to 260, the calls are going to be back to flat. So just use that as an opportunity to close some out. I'll continue to hold those, and we'll see what happens with tomorrow. I'm probably not going to be too overly aggressive, but I try to rationalize things. And you look at Google, right? And look at Google today. And gosh, I remember with earnings. Well, before earnings, people pretty much writing their tombstone for Google. It's over. AI is killing Google. AI is killing search. There's no more need for Google. And boom, they did anything but die when it came to earnings. They refuted that the bear case, showed growth, just monster, right? And I tried to play, or I was looking to get the calls when it was like 190, and I was surprised that the stock didn't do that much post earnings. And sure enough, couple months, month and a half later, it's $60 to the upside, all time highs. But the conversation, or at least the comparison, is like you look at Reddit, and every 1.4% Google moves up is one Reddit. I think it's like $46 billion in market cap. So kind of puts things in perspective. And you look at Reddit, and again, I can go on rants forever, but it's the treasure trove. It's of what a lot of what folks get when they with the AI, what their the return on the information, right? And the treasure trove of information. So anyway, I can go on a while for Reddit. I'm not going to, but still love this one for upside. So that's Reddit. And then I went and got Lemonade calls. And, Lemonade wasn't really on the watch list, but it's always on the watch list because at some point, this is going to go on another one of those runs. And, similar to GameStop, the difference with GameStop and Lemonade, it was $18 at the end of last year and it had a 30% short interest. Now it's nearly $60 and it still has a 30% short interest. So those people who are short, unless they hedge themselves very good using options or what have you, or got their cost basis up, I don't know, severely underwater, paying margin, right? So at some point, it's similar to Reddit, you have to think it's going to break out. It's just a matter of time. So uh, inexpensive. I was looking for an inexpensive. I was looking at the 64 lottos, got to 65s. They're cheap on a risk reward basis. If it goes, they'll be couple hundred, maybe a couple 1,000% plus. If it doesn't, I'll live to see another day, and maybe I'll trade some more of them. But you look, and it's like tight Bollinger Band set up, or not as tight as I like. But it looks like if it breaks near 60, it's off to the races, and blue skies 65 plus. So thought process there on Lemonade. IIPR just flirting here at 57.50, disappointing. Talked about this morning, they announced their dividend 190, which is in line or probably better than expectations, considering they had one of their big tenants default. So you think maybe they would scale back on their dividend. That's not the case. So still a monster yield, right? 760 to into $57. That's like 16, 17% year dividend. Have to think this trades substantially higher in the coming days. So 57.50. I mean, would love to see it close above that. I was hoping to add some more strikes. I'll be patient, kind of like watching paint dry at times, but still my calls are still up a couple 100%. I'll continue to hold those. SERV is in the green here this morning. I wish there was some more follow through with Friday's move, maybe back over $13. I'll just continue to hold my strikes there. I still have some Septembers that expire on Friday. So I was hoping some major follow through, like another 15, 20% couple sessions and maybe get to 15 by the end of the week. But I guess that's not going to happen. And then last but not least here is Joby. And, I drew these support, this kind of like trend line, or I guess you would call it this channel. And it's getting right at that channel. So it looks like it's ready. I was talking about its reversal on Friday, and I didn't want to see a repeat today. It got all the way back up to 1480, and it's kind of like doing it again. It's almost flat. So one of these sessions, it breaks and holds. Unfortunately, today's not that day. I'm trying to think of some of the other names here. GameStop. Nike, I was talking about this morning, disappointing. Here it is. I mean, it's just flirting here at $73. I'm not even sure if I'm going to add any strikes into earnings. I might just wait. They report on September 30th. And that's it, folks. Funny Tesla, right? Just monster. It's off its highs, obviously, all the way to 425. Stories to talk about because you see people posting about Elon Musk's insider buy, and that I think he did it during market hours on Friday. $1 billion worth of stock buybacks. If you're around, I don't know how long you've been trading for, but some of the times he's done these insider buys, one of the insider buys he did pre-market, right? And in the filings, you could actually see he posted the trades, and then I could go to the level 2 and the time and sales, and you could actually see every trade he made in the pre-market, and it actually made the stock gap up on Tesla for his his stock purchases, like pretty remarkable stuff. So it kind of puts him on like one of those borderline. Is he, is that market manipulation? Obviously it didn't come to that, but just crazy stuff. I think they're saying the same thing. Obviously, when you have a large transaction like that, people could say, hey, maybe it moves the market much, but I mean, it's such a liquid name. It's like someone buying $1 billion worth of Apple. I mean, is it going to move it? Maybe it will, but is it material enough? Probably not. But anyway, let's have a great day, folks. I'll be back. Rock and roll.